Hey everyone, my name's Rachel and today we're going to be talking about everyone's favourite catalogue of cringe online, the website which is Tumblr. Now Tumblr has kind of been done and spoken about and talked about and debunked or exposed or whatever a lot of times on the internet, and when I kind of posed maybe making a video series on Tumblr on Twitter, you can follow me here at Rachel Oates with a 0 non-O because there's a lot of us out there apparently. But when I posed this question to my Twitter followers, one person came back to me and said, only do it if you think you can put a unique or kind of new spin on it, which kind of got me thinking. And I want to show both the kind of cringy side of Tumblr and the kind of more progressive, kind of logical side of it, I guess you could say. I think it's important to showcase both sides and both opinions. But I still think it's important to look at and talk about it because when I was a teenager, I did spend quite a lot of time browsing Tumblr. I mostly used it to, read about my favourite TV and books and get new recommendations. I used it to find inspiration for my photography and stuff. But a lot of people, like me, kind of do turn to it when they're in a pretty vulnerable place. And luckily, it didn't really influence my personal, social, or political ideologies all that much. But I do think for young people who are vulnerable or worried about things, it can be quite a strong influence. And I want to kind of look at whether it's a positive or negative influence for young people. As someone who didn't really have any real friends at school, I can really appreciate the comfort you get from an online community. And I can understand why a lot of people go and seek that out. And if you're finding yourself in an online community that is very vocal about their beliefs, I guess you could say, like a lot of the Tumblr communities are, I think that can be a little bit damaging at times. But I want to kind of have a look at both sides and see how it can damage and how it can help. Hopefully it'll be entertaining as well and we can have a little bit of a giggle at the cringe along the way. But yeah, so I'm thinking in every video in this series, I'm going to make it into a little bit of a series, but hopefully not overdo it. In every video, I'm going to be taking a look at one of the kind of hashtags, and I'm going to be searching Tumblr's recent posts for that hashtag and sharing a couple with you. So, of course, today we are starting with hashtag feminism because it's the obvious choice and it's a fun one. And there's lots of crazy, over-the-top, radical stuff, and there's also a lot of nice logic and reason in there as well. So I thought it'd be a good one to talk about. But for now, let's just get into it and have a look at some of these posts. First up, we're going to start with this one. And it's a genuine question. I think it might just be because I'm kind of old by Tumblr standards now, but I don't get the whole clap word kind of post. They're all over Tumblr. I saw so many of them, but this one's gender is not a science. It is a state of being defined by language. Which, okay, fair enough, I get the sentiment, but I don't get the clapping thing. What is with this? Also, this whole gender is just being defined by language kind of thing. I'm not sure how much I agree with that. I think a lot of how you feel about your gender can be influenced by your biology. And that's not to say it has anything to do with your genitals. I'm just saying I think stuff happens in the brain that helps define your gender. And that's why I think trans people can't choose whether they're trans or not. If someone was born with male genitalia and yet feels they're a woman, I still think there's something probably biological going on there, probably in their brains. Does this make sense? Yeah, I don't know. I think to say, science has nothing to do with gender is a little bit naive. But I don't know enough about the biology of these issues. But I also think Tumblr goes a little bit over the top sometimes in kind of demonizing people if they are a little bit unsure about gender issues. Anyway, the main point of this was to say, what is with the clapping emojis? I don't get it. I think I'm too old for this. Next up we get this post that asks, can women in America ever be equal in a world where so many men think women exist just to be sexy teasers or unattractive liberal feminist harpies? Again, it's this whole thing about Tumblr just over-exaggerating everything. Can women in America ever be equal? Yes, many of them are. The fact that pretty much all women in America have the exact same access to education as men do, that's a pretty awesome thing. The fact that women can apply for the same jobs that men can, that's a pretty awesome thing. Yeah, there might be some issues of inequality, and I can't honestly say I know much about American culture, because I've been there once. Out of my 24 years, I spent a week in America. I don't know it well. I can only comment on the UK, but in general, in Western societies, women have it pretty good. And I just think to say that men only see women as, you know, sex objects or like unattractive feminists, you know, like saying it like it's a bad word, it's naive and it's silly, and real, actual adult men don't think that way. There's not just some binary of what women can be to men. This person, oh actually it's the same account, says she's watching Fox News apparently. She said, some Fox News lady, she was blonde, I remember that much, and I saw her roots, her hideous dye job, says, I don't need feminism, and she's like, but what about the rest of us? I find it funny that someone who's trying to promote feminism is sat there shaming a woman because A, she dyes her hair, and B, she can see her roots. Like, I don't care if you can see someone's roots or not, you can see my roots crazy bad at the minute. They're very, very blonde and annoying. Because I dye my hair because I don't like my natural colour. I imagine this woman dyes her hair because she maybe doesn't like her natural colour, or maybe she wants to enhance her colour or whatever. There's nothing wrong with taking pride in your appearance. And I think if she says that she doesn't personally need feminism, I think that's fine. She's not saying that society as a whole doesn't need feminism. I don't know, it's an awkward one. Again, I think it's just double standards and being angry for the sake of being angry. That's what I think a lot of these radical Tumblr feminists do. They kind of make mountains out of molehills, to use the old cliche. The next person posts, the next post that I found was a screenshot of a tweet, I think, and it says, if you can afford to give boys free condoms, you can afford to give girls free tampons. Menstruation is a lot harder to refrain from than sex. This is a difficult issue, but the first thing I'm going to say is, they don't just give free condoms to boys. Everyone can get free condoms. Women as well. And it's not just the boys' responsibility to have a condom. It's the girls as much as the guys. If two people are partaking in sex, it's up to both of them to be safe. I don't care what your gender is. I think in the UK it's something like anyone over 16 or something can have access to free condoms, which I think is brilliant, and it's definitely encouraging kids to be safe and look after themselves. I don't know if that's still a thing or if it's a thing anywhere else, but yeah, it's not just the boy thing. And then onto the whole, like, you know, free tampons kind of thing. It is a whole different issue. I'm very against the idea of tax on, you know, feminine hygiene products. I don't think that's fair, because they are a necessity up there along with, you know, like food and clean water. Like, a woman can't help it, she needs them, and she shouldn't be taxed for buying them. We shouldn't be taxed for buying them. It's a very complicated issue. So people give out free condoms to try and discourage unprotected sex, which can spread STIs, which can result in unwanted pregnancies, all of which would cost the government lots and lots and lots and lots of money in, you know, abortions, in child care for kids given away, in treating STIs. That's lots and lots of money right there. But by not giving people free feminine hygiene products, it doesn't really save the government any money, does it? It's just them losing money. So I can see why they give away free condoms and not free feminine hygiene products. So I think it's different issues. Basically what I'm saying is they're overreacting again and getting mad about something that they don't even need to get mad about. The next person says, talk about intersectional feminism on the first date so you don't bother emotionally investing in a bad person who thinks there's two genders. Again, this is just so narrow-minded. I mean, one, what happened to not talking about deep, serious issues on the first date? What happened to keep it light and have fun? Apparently that's not a thing anymore. And also, so what if you have different political opinions? That just means you're going to have someone around to challenge you. You don't need to be with someone in a relationship who you agree 100% with on every single issue. Like, it's good to be challenged and have different opinions on things, and I kind of like that about me and Dan, that we're not exactly the same. I mean, we agree on most things, but that's kind of coincidence more than anything else. But yeah, you know, way to go. Just scare people off on the first date if you want. Go for it. And the next post says, I really don't like why so many men hate women in makeup. Like, you're literally being graced with the presence of a living art. Like, you could be kissing a masterpiece, but no, you boy with your opinions that no one asked for, and that's why nobody likes men, because they're a waste of blood and bones. Whew. 1. Punctuation. 2. I don't think it's like a thing with men who are like, oh, I hate girls who wear makeup. I don't think that's actually a thing. If it is, it's the girls who wear like too much makeup, so if you go near them, they smudge. Like, imagine if you were, like, on a date with a girl and you tried to kiss her and then just her entire face just moved an inch to the right. I think people have the issue with, like, the girls who are like, don't touch me, my makeup's perfect. Like, that's a bit much. And the other girls who are like, you can touch me, but I'm gonna look different afterwards. That's a bit much as well. And, you know, the whole, no one likes men and they're a waste of blood and bones. Just shut up with the man-hating, please. It's silly and immature and, like, we need men for the world to function as much as we need women for the world to function. It's a thing. The next person is just as immature and stupid and says, I just want to never have to see a man or listen to a man speak honestly. Is that too much to ask? And it's tagged with, and for all other women to have the same privilege. I don't even have the words to comment on this. The next post I found was a really, really long rant. I'm not going to read it all out because there's a lot to it. So much so that I couldn't like fit it all on one screen, so I had to screenshot it in 2 parts. But basically, it's again very kind of man-hating and negative. And it says, some men act on violence and abuse women because they don't know how else to react whenever their insecurities consume them. They feel threatened by us and inferior to mentally and physically strong females. I don't hate men, but because of personal experiences, I do have high expectations of meeting a male that genuinely respects, appreciates, and doesn't feel superior to women, since every male I have met has always felt higher than me, simply because I'm a woman. I'm just like, I'm sorry, but who are you meeting? You're meeting entirely the wrong people here. The majority of men don't think like that. And it goes on and it's on, it's like, blah, blah, blah. I'm glad our women today are becoming aware, getting together, recognising and empowering each other. It's peeing off all of these misogynistic, sexist, male chauvinists. Men today are still against our voices, and some are strongly attempting to understand, and I appreciate that they're really giving in. What? Men are strongly against our voices, but some of them are giving in to us now. Like, no, that's silly. Just a silly, silly rant. And the best bit is that after this rant, and after this whole, like, you know, men don't want to listen to us, all the men I've met are terrible, I have these really high expectations from men because the ones I've met are all... She then goes on to say, I do hope that women, including myself, will one day stop making assumptions, quit classifying most males as bumholes without even knowing them, and halt our resentments. Yes, we live in a male-dominated world, and most of our experiences with men have made us feel low and small, but we shouldn't have the mentality of wanting to surpass them or feel higher than them. Yes, I kind of agree with that last bit. We shouldn't feel like we need to surpass men. Gender equality is about equality. Simple as that. But, like, seriously, most of our experiences with men have made us feel low and small. Like, that's ridiculous. Most of my best friends are men, and they're some of the loveliest, most supportive, kindest, funniest, and most fun people I know. And not one of them has ever looked down on me and said, you can't do something because I'm a girl. Anyway, with this last bit of silliness, let's move on to a little bit of logic to calm ourselves now. So hopefully we can realise that there is a slightly more sensible side to Tumblr, which can be a good influence on young people. This person says, okay, but really, let's stop hating young girls, especially girly girls, girls who read those teen magazines, girls who are obsessed with whatever current teen idol is popular, girls who wear lip gloss or a lot of pink, and girls who like to talk about boys, girls who watch shows like Hannah Montana, girls who like to play with dolls. There's absolutely nothing wrong with liking any of these things or being like other girls. Other girls are awesome and so are you. I like this. It's like you know, you're great whatever you do. Good for you. Be who you are and stop hating on other people for silly things. Like the person in the other post moaning about someone's roots. Like, it's silly. I like this post. It's encouraging. It's setting a good example. The next post says, giving jobs to unqualified individuals will only ensure that our workforce will underperform. We need to stop pushing this quota business and hire people based on their skill set and credentials. That's the only way to make it fair. Anything else is discriminatory. And I completely agree with this. I think positive discrimination is a silly, silly thing. I think the best qualified person for the role should get the role, regardless of gender, age, race, anything. The last post I want to talk about says, I'm tired of this fight against femininity lately that I've been seeing. Girls who wear makeup and shave, for example, aren't brainwashed. You aren't a better or more empowered woman because you choose not to. When did feminism stop being about women's choice? When did it all become be like me, or you're just controlled by penis? I shave because my thick Italian body hair makes me itchy as hell. I like makeup because I like to show off my features and have fun, but I don't need it. leave feminine girls alone. Again, I like this. It's a you do you kind of post. It's a positive post for like everyone. And it's you know, girls, you're fine just the way that you are. It's about doing what you love and just being true to yourself, and I really like that. I can appreciate that. I do wish I found a few more posts under the feminism tag, being a little bit more encouraging towards men, kind of talking about men's issues within feminism, especially things like mental health and abuse and things like that. They're probably in there, they're probably just hidden quite well under all the angry posts, but you know, there we go. Anyway, hopefully this was a giggle. Hopefully it was kind of good to hear some of my opinions, maybe, I don't know. Let me know what you think of them down in the comments. Let me know your thoughts on some of these posts, both the over-the-top ones and the kind of more logical, reasoned ones. If you do want to see more videos like this on a whole range of topics, then please let me know. I've actually had quite a bit of fun with this, it's been good. I'm rambling now, but yeah, definitely let me know what you think, please. And if you've made it through this far, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.